If you got this video in your feed, chances are that you like geography facts. But these 20 are something special, and the majority of people usually don't know these. Find out which ones they are and be the most interesting person in the room. Finland isn't part of Scandinavia. Many people use Scandinavia as a synonym to address the Nordic countries, but only Denmark, Sweden and Norway belong to Scandinavia. Florida isn't the closest state to Africa. As this map shows, it's actually Maine, because it's so far east that it's closer. It seems like it's not on most maps though, but because of the shape of the Earth, it is. Mount Everest is not the closest to the Sun on Earth, even though it's the highest mountain. Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador is more than 2.5 kilometers smaller than Mount Everest, but it's further from the Earth's core because of the equatorial bulge. This means that when it's measured from the core of the Earth, it's taller. Maine is not the easternmost state of the United States. It was though until Alaska was added. These are the Aleutian Islands, which cross over the 180th meridian, making them the easternmost while not being that far from the westernmost point of the country. Holland is not a country. It's called the Netherlands, which has 12 provinces. These two are being called North and South Holland. And because most of the largest cities are located there, people tend to call it Holland. The USA and Russia do not have the most time zones. These two both have 11 active time zones in all of their territories combined, but it's actually France with 12 that leads the way, while metropolitan France is just one time zone. Greenland is not larger than countries such as Algeria and Argentina, but it looks this way because of the most used map projection, which is called the Mercator projection. These are the actual sizes. If you want to know more about this topic, check this video right here after this one. Great Britain and the United Kingdom are not the same. This image shows the clear difference between Great Britain, the United Kingdom and the British Isles. Iceland is not only covered by ice. Only 11% of the country is covered by glaciers. Greenland, on the other hand, is covered by ice for 80%. The story goes that Vikings called it this way to mislead enemies by making it less attractive to colonize Iceland. A lot of capitals are often mistaken, mainly countries with famous cities, and smaller capitals get confused, such as Australia, where not world famous Sydney, but Canberra is the capital, or Brazil, where not Rio de Janeiro or Sao Paulo, but Brasilia is the capital. There are many more examples of this common mistake. The Sahara Desert isn't the largest desert on Earth. This is actually Antarctica. This desert is 14.2 million square kilometers or 5.5 million square miles. And talking about deserts, a very common misconception is that deserts are extremely hot. While in fact it's not the temperature that's the most important factor to decide the climate, but the amount of precipitation. Deserts have less than 500 millimeters or 20 inches of precipitation annually. Egypt doesn't have the most pyramids. While the pyramids of Giza are by far the largest and most famous in the world, the neighbors Sudan actually have 240 pyramids compared to 135 in Egypt. And talking about those pyramids of Giza, they are often portrayed as if they are in the middle of the desert, as this image shows. But if you turn around, you see this, the large metropolitan area of Cairo. Kansas City is actually in two states, both Kansas and Missouri. If we look at this map, we can see that the metropolitan area is on both sides of the state line that follows the Missouri River for this part. Russia and Turkey aren't the only transcontinental countries. This line divides Europe and Asia, showing that Kazakhstan, Georgia and Azerbaijan are also transcontinental between Europe and Asia, and there are many more examples in other continents as well. Geneva and Zurich aren't the capital of Switzerland, and neither is Bern. Although Bern is considered their capital, Switzerland has no official capital. Australia and New Zealand aren't really close to each other. It's often assumed that the two aren't that far apart, while the minimum distance between both countries is almost 1700 kilometers or 1056 miles, which is as far as from Barcelona to Copenhagen. Texas isn't the largest state of the US. That would be Alaska, which is more than twice as large. Texas is the second largest state and the largest of the contiguous ones. Despite being by far the largest country on Earth, Russia does not have the longest coastline. If you look at this map, you'd expect Russia to have the longest one, as the entire coast looks incomparable long. 3 countries have a longer coastline, but it's actually Canada that tops the list. If you want to see which ones are on the list too, check out this entire top 10 right here.